welcome to the commentary zone. As you enter the room, please don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, tell a friend, come join us in our live chat and in our comment section. All right, so on the docket today, we have the season finale of The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3, Episode 7, Phuket Me Not. This is the Thailand edition. I'm glad this is over. I'm not gonna lie. We're still
I
talking about
agree.
the bottle at the end, at the beginning of this episode. Why? Why? Um,
I'll be honest. Overall, I just didn't care.
the casting.
hmm And we
They
we said
didn't
that.
cast it.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
we said that last week as well. Like how the casting was just off, and it was just like I hate to put it this way, but
Mhm.
this is a season that didn't need to happen.
I think it took too long.
Well, it took too long because of how they did the episodes. Let's be honest. Let's give them. Let's say that like they extended out the episodes where they added on. We'll say 9 minutes. This is episode times seven, right?
Hmm.
So they added a whole 63 minutes. And realistically, what they shouldn't have done that. They should have just taken those 63 minutes they added on. No, 44, 51. Yeah, 63 minutes roughly, give or take. They should just use that for two more episodes and did it that way because I felt 51 minutes for this was too long.
Mm.
I just felt it was too long, and then the casting didn't help. It didn't keep my attention too much. There was some. I mean, they had some good bits, but it wasn't enough. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because basically all I took away from it was Giselle is still talking about this missing bottle. Leah, who was in the hospital, is finally getting out. She's on an IV drip. And she's ready to come back to the villa. She is determined to go to this dinner. Apparently, she had a bacterial infection or something like that. I
Some
don't
kind of
know.
virus.
Yeah. Pepsi is telling the ladies that they are going to the Lotus Pond for dinner, and they're getting he's getting stylists to come over to dress them in traditional Thai outfits, which I thought was really cool. Um, and basically they go out for lunch to this other amazing restaurant. Like, this is what I was waiting for the entire trip. um I was waiting for images, like, I don't even know if I have any of these loaded because I'm still saving pictures. But like, they went where they went to for lunch. That place was amazing. It's amazing. um so Thailand itself is like a visual dream. And let me see if I can find. Oh yes, this and this open. This place where they went for the lunch, beautiful, beautiful. I'm trying to upload the pictures now. Okay, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh,
Isn't
for
that
sure.
gorgeous? Like, that's why I think these ultimate girls trips should be about. And like, look at this other picture from overhead. Look at all of those little lily pads. This, well, I think they're lily or lotus pads or whatever they are. Gorgeous, And then I did think that, like, oh god, the little line that they did. I thought this was gorgeous. Done. Okay. So they were actually like starting out and having fun at that restaurant when they did the fashion catwalk on the pier. I thought that was great. And then they sit down to lunch And Giselle had to ruin it by making Pepsi come out with that easel with her
With that
stupid
bottle.
bottle on it. Yeah. And I was just like, are you serious? Are y'all serious? I didn't get it. Didn't get it at all. And then she's doing what was the game? Trial
Courting
trial by
session
no,
or whatever.
session in Shaw style. I was like, oh my God. And so she's eliminating people so that she could get down to Candace and blame Candace for stealing her
Right.
bottle. That came off really weird to me. It came off very weird to me, but what do I know? What do I know? Um, but I thought kind of Candace kind of rattled her because she thought Giselle thought she had control of that situation. And Candace counter argument rattled her. And I loved it because for once Candace was calm and in control and used her words. But then when Marisol piped, bless you, Marisol piped up and said, "I'm gonna need a $5,000 hearing aid because you keep on screaming in my ear and like and they keep on sitting me next to you." I was like, Marisol, oof,
Mm-hmm.
oof. Okay, but whatever. Um, here's my thing though. Here's my thing. Marisol and Alexia, let me rephrase this. No, I'm not going to rephrase. Marisol and Alexia needed to stay home from this trip
Mm-hmm.
because the two of them, especially Alexia, total waste of money and time. Why did you come on this trip? Y'all waited till the end to fake bicker about crap that nobody cared about. Um, to like get some camera time. You should have been doing that from the beginning. Not that I'm interested in Alexia, but whatever. I just think that Alexia put her foot wrong. Like she finally stepped up and she put her foot wrong throughout this entire last episode. She is complete like she never really had me to begin with, but she's completely lost me now. And Marisol, you trying to be friends with her and trying to have her back, you've just messed up yourself. And Giselle made a comment in one of the bus rides, because half of this episode is always bus rides,
Mm-hmm.
um, saying that basically it came off to me that Alexia has been generous enough to include and invite Marisol in everything. And Marisol needs to be grateful because if it were not for Alexia, then who would she be? What?
But see, that just tells you Giselle doesn't know what she's talking about. That's just the
I
thing.
was flabbergasted by that.
Right. And that just tells you all of Giselle's notoriety or whatever comes from the show, where that's not the case with Marisol.
Marisol, like Miami has the strongest friends of characters of any of these franchises. They're more like main characters
Right.
because they actually talk and they're part of storylines and they have their own storylines. Like the rest of y'all franchises, the friends of are edited out or sit in silence at events. Like, what are you all talking about? Oh my God. If anything, I think Marisol brings along Alexia.
Right, but that just shows you, like I said, that just shows Giselle doesn't know what she's talking about. Because if you actually did your research and actually looked them both up, you would know Marisol is like known in Miami. Like people know Marisol, they don't know Alexia.
In her
I mean,
own right, you know?
exactly.
Oh wow. Oh, whatever. Another reason for Giselle to irritate me. Um they go back to the house. Leah has been released from the hospital. Candace goes to visit with her, make sure she's okay. She gives her the updates on everything that's happened while she's been away and the recent lunch. Um, What else? They all get ready and they head out again, and they go to this amazing Lotus restaurant. Don't ask me what was the name of the ceremony that Pepsi was making them do. I don't know, but look, this is the entryway. This is what you're greeted with
Mm-hmm.
when you get to this restaurant. Like, my God, oh wow! And then you got to get on a barge and be pulled across a little lake to get to the restaurant. I loved it. I loved it. It was so great. They sit down, they have dinner, and this is where Alexia puts her foot in it with Whitney. Don't you have children? Like, aren't they looking? I'm not judging you, but you are. But
Mm-hmm.
Leah had a really good IV bag because she jumped in for Whitney. Candace jumped in for Whitney. Marisol jumped in for Alexia, and sounded way wrong. Even Giselle was like, I'm not
Right.
judging her. I'm not judging any woman as a parent.
Portia.
Portia. Yeah. Where's Jamal? Come on back, Jamal. I that dinner, I don't know what Alexia was trying to prove. I just don't. She's so annoying. But yeah, Marisol just trying to pick up for her friend again. It went left. Hey, okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
I
Let's.
was just saying, like, everyone jumped in for Whitney except for
Mm-hmm.
Marisol.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like,
yeah.
ooh, I'm glad they all did that too. Like, yeah, we're not doing that.
But listen, when Leah brought up the drug cartel, and I think it was
Oh,
Portia saying, how we get the drug cartel from it? Because Alexia was saying because she smokes weed and goes on a stripper pole, that may impact her children. Like, for
right.
real, be careful what you talking about, Alexia, because there's documentaries and criminal records and cases on your ex-husband. And did she at one point say, I didn't have children? When
She,
that was, I was like, yes, you did.
I was like, okay.
Your children are for Pedro. Oh my God. Oh my God. She made no sense to me. She didn't argue her point well. And then what irritates me with Alexia, like she brings this up to Whitney in a question form, right? Whitney tries to reply to her and she cuts her off.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. Makes no sense. We see Giselle and Portia had a confessional where they played rock paper scissors so that they could convict Candace of stealing the liquor. Yes, we are still talking about the bottle of liquor. Um, what else happened? Oh, so after the dinner, Pepsi, oh my God, Pepsi comes over in the barge dressed in traditional outfit, and he holds up the bottle of liquor, and it wasn't the original bottle. He said he
Mm-mm.
looked all over Thailand for it. They bought a new bottle and gave it to Pepsi to bring in. um
Mm-hmm.
he gives her the bottle. Uh, we don't care. So he starts bringing up the ladies in pairs so that he gives them this floating floral arrangement with some incense in it, and they're supposed to like make a wish or something like that, to, I don't know, purge their life or some nonsense. I don't know. But it's cute. The flower arrangements are cute. And so he helps the ladies to bend down and set the floating arrangement off after they make their wish. And it's supposed to repair the animosity between the two ladies that he brings up. He did it first with Giselle and Candace. That didn't work. Then who was next? Heather and Whitney and Alexia and Marisol, and Leah and Portia. Did you see the looks that Portia was giving? Like from the time Leah came back to the
Right, yeah.
villa, she was like, "Oh, like the eye rolling." She was ignoring her. Like you let your petty show, Portia. I thought she was a little bit more adult than that. And then even at the dinner, she was just being very dismissive. Wow. What else? What else? What else? What else?
I
Oh,
mean, go ahead.
when Candace said when Marisol jumped in to defend Alexia at that dinner, and Candace turned to her. So how about when your husband go to work and you at home all day drinking? Oh my God. Candace. Love it. Candace. Love it. Um, yeah, they set the flowers off. They go back home. It's the next day. They all packing up to leave. The way this final breakfast scene with that was set up that Whitney and Alexia would be alone. I thought that was a bumbled apology by Alexia
It was.
because I was confused, but okay, whatever. I guess she gave an apology. Whitney said she doesn't know her well enough to know if it's genuine or not, but she'll take it. You go, girl. She was still judging you. That's what it
Hmm.
boils down to. The rest of the women come in, and Pepsi makes an appearance, his final appearance, and Candace says an immense thank you on behalf of all of the ladies, and they present him with a signed piece of construction paper, a book. I don't remember what it was, and then the envelope, hopefully full of cash.
Right, because she said,
Um,
I'm assuming it's cash. She's all because this might help with the therapy that you gonna need. I'm like, oops.
mhm. So he gets that. He gets emotional. And he says that he's happy. So that's really good. Um, we see Giselle still asking the production company if anyone found the bottle, and they're like, no. Then we flash to Candace and Leah in a confessional, and Leah is presenting Candace with the bottle. Then we see Whitney and Heather back to their scene before going to the final dinner when they were out on the pool deck. And Heather invites Whitney for a shot from the bottle, and she says something about hide the bottle 101. Everybody's so stupid. Like she knew where the bottle was. Heather has put herself off as a liar, a cheat, and a flip flopper in this. Like she's ruined her entire reputation in this one series. Good on you, Heather.
Right, we can't wait to see next. Now, see this now with this, I might just watch next season.
Oh, you're better than me.
I'm curious to see how because I want to see how Whitney and Heather's relationship plays out on camera with the other
Mhm.
ladies, knowing the other ladies have watched this Ultimate Girls Trip.
Well, Lisa, I'm sure Lisa Barlow will have something to say about it.
I
I
cannot
don't
wait.
think their relationship is repaired, and I
Oh
think they'll
no!
continue fighting next season.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't care about it.
Because Heather's last confession was very interesting.
Mhm.
She is so mad at Whitney for challenging
Mhm.
her. She's
Mhm.
pissed. And I think she's
Mhm.
pissed because normally Whitney's the go along to get along.
Mhm.
And Whitney's not doing that no more.
Well, when they were actually talking on the pool deck, Heather was getting kind of like snippety.
Yeah,
And Whitney was kind of taken aback because she was like, "Okay, we're going to move on." And Heather
right.
was like, "You can't, judge how I feel about my relationship with my religion. Like, no. It's a no-go." And Whitney was like, "Wait, what? That's not what production told us to do."
Right.
That's how she looked. That's how she looked to me. Like, wait, you went off script. But I'ma just stand here and go,
It was hilarious because Whitney was just trying to scoot it under the carpet, like, and Heather, like you said, Heather got all mad. I'm like, see, you're just
Mm-hmm.
mad because Whitney's not going along with the bullshit. That's what that is. That's all it is. And here's the thing: Whitney didn't do anything to you. You did it to yourself. You were the one who stood by Jen Shaw all the way up until the end,
Ride or
knowing.
die.
I mean, you can ride. Here's the thing: you can ride or die all you want to, okay? But when your friends, ex bestie, and business partner flips on her, I'm going to need you to use common sense and understand the facts as it lays.
Like
And you need to,
everybody flipped on her.
and,
Everybody.
and she was the last arrest in the case.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with you talking about I believe that she's innocent?
Delusional. Delusional. But
I mean,
whatever.
if that's what we call stupidity nowadays, okay.
Uh-huh. So all of them pack up, get out, and go back home. This was 8 days of constant bickering about fuck all nothing. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Thailand Season 3 Episode 7 Phuket Me Not Season Finale. Wah wah wah.
Before we go, did you
Mhm.
enjoy anyone on this season? Mm,
Candace.
okay.
Candace. Um yeah, Candace. I enjoyed her. I did. Um Marisol, except for the end. I liked Marisol in the beginning, even when she was sick. I liked her there. But yeah, I
Mhm.
enjoyed Candace the most. The most consistently throughout the season, Candace would have to be the one for me. What about you?
I'm going to agree with you, but I do have like a B person, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, that is Whitney, and here is why. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to start with Candace. Candace for all the reasons that you stated. I felt that she was really open to everyone for the most part, and when she
Mm-hmm.
would argue, she wouldn't raise her voice until people were purposely misunderstanding her and trying to paint her in her words in a light that it wasn't. And you could see that. And
Mm-hmm.
Candace said perfectly at the ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
like people intentionally misunderstanding her. I'm like, I agree with you there. I say Whitney because it's interesting that Whitney has evolved, and we have to give her kudos for that. She has evolved. And on this trip, she wasn't afraid to call a thing, especially when it was to Heather.
Mm-hmm.
And she never lied. She did not lie on Heather. And that was the thing. I'm like, okay, when you're actually saying the truth as it lays and production is backing you up. And that was another key thing for me. I'm like, I wonder what's really going on Salt Lake City because y'all really good with that bean footage, especially when it's against Heather. Like Heather got away with nothing on. If you really look at it, Heather
Mm-hmm.
got away with no lies on this trip. When people would call her out, production was right there with the proof, with the receipts.
And it shook her. It
Yeah.
shook her. Mm-hmm.
So
Because
I'm
I
like,
think she gets away with a lot on Salt Lake City. She wasn't prepared for this.
hmm. So Whitney, I enjoy because I feel like she's not holding back. She seems very comfortable in her oh, uh, very comfortable in her own skin, and she didn't seem as rattled by this group when she was on Salt Lake City. I felt like on Salt Lake City, she would stumble over her words when she would try to
Mm-hmm.
explain herself. I saw somebody who's completely different on this girls trip. She would
Mm-hmm.
argue her point. She said how she felt. If someone was understanding, she reiterated and she did not stumble. So I want her to keep this energy on Salt Lake City.
Mhm.
She can't go back.
I don't know. I think for me, Whitney and Heather canceled each other out because of the irrelevant, mindless
Arguments.
bickering. Yeah, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
care. I didn't care about it in the season, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch most of the season, and it felt like it carried over here, and I didn't care about it here. I didn't care about Jen Shaw, and I was like pissed that Giselle keeps on dragging up Jen Shaw, like she drags up that bottle, like everything's just regurgitated for Giselle. So I didn't enjoy the Salt Lake City component. For me, they canceled each other out. I didn't find any enjoyment in either one of them.
I can see that. I can see that. But I separated them out though. That's why I can say I enjoyed Whitney. But if you ask me about the component as a twosome,
Mhm.
I did not enjoy them.
But I did enjoy Whitney this last episode with the way how she stated how she raises her children. And I appreciate her. Like, I felt bad that it almost came off that she was defending how she parents,
Right.
and I thought that was horrible. But how she communicated, I don't even want to say justify, how she communicate her
Right.
parental style, I was here for, and I supported her in it.
For sure. She didn't back down.
Mhm.
That was the component for me. That's why I was really looking. She did not back down. She's like, we're not gonna even do this. Where the Whitney before I felt would have stumbled over her words and cowered.
Mhm. Yeah.
But like you said, as a
Mhm.
twosome, no way. Didn't enjoy them. But Whitney on her own, I enjoyed. I did enjoy her. But
Mhm.
I don't think this was the proper casting for Salt Lake City for the girls trip.
I don't think Salt Lake City deserves to
But
be
then
on a girl
again,
trip.
no, I can agree with you there.
Hey, Stephanie, you just finished the episode. What did you think? Did you like the season overall? And Jamal, your question was which character did you like best out of all
Yes,
of the ladies? Let us know your thoughts. But yeah, which
it was
girls
too
trip do
soon.
I like the best? The first one.
The first one,
The first
by
one was the
far,
best.
they had
I
so much fun with the right mix of drama.
It was the right casting, right location,
Yes.
right level of money, and luxury, and all of the activities. We got to go sightseeing. Um Production. If you're taking us to an exotic location like Thailand, do not do it in monsoon season where we can't go out and about and be with
Hmm.
Thai people. Like, why didn't we go to that temple with all of the penises? I'm just real upset about that. Just real upset. Stephanie agrees. And Candace was her favorite. All right. Okay. So these Ultimate Girls trips, I feel, is a really good vehicle for these housewives to come on and help change how people see them in their natural habitat. It
Hmm.
takes them out of that. Oh, this sounds really bad how I'm saying this, but it takes them out of their natural environment, plops them in with new people, new surroundings, and sink or swim. See if you can muddle through. And some people swim and most people sink. I think the only one who cleared water was Candace. Hmm.
Agreed. And the reason why the first girl trip worked so well, like we said, because of casting and activities. And I
Mhm.
really felt the first season, no one really went in with any drama.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, Cynthia and
Mhm.
Kenya weren't really getting along like they were, but
Mhm.
it wasn't the overreaching, arching disagreement like it was with Whitney and Heather.
But the thing is that I think in this season you brought all of the animosity from
Right.
your existing series into this, and I didn't want to see it because I think it has its place over there. Get to know the
Yeah.
other people and build new
Right.
fights.
Right.
Stephanie says, I didn't like this season as much, mainly due to the cast, and they barely left the resort. That's true, because it was always
Um,
raining.
right.
The way Alexia and Giselle came at Marisol was annoying. Yes. Yes. Agreed. Hey, Kay Santos. Thank you. And then Stephanie says, she is just so naturally witty. I like her and didn't always feel that way. Agreed. Agreed, Stephanie.
For who?
Um,
Just so I know who you're talking about.
huh?
Who you guys talking about? Candace?
She's so naturally witty. Yeah, I believe it's Candace because that's how I feel about Candace.
Oh yeah, Candace has
Um,
like always been to me. She's always been witty and funny, but what happens is when she gets emotional, she just
mhm.
has no control. And
Yeah.
it overshadows everything, all the good stuff.
Lisa says, I was glad to see Heather and Whitney have made peace. But did they though? Cuz that didn't seem resolved at all. Heather was getting her hackles up and
Oh yeah.
Whitney looked bewildered. I don't know. I don't think anything was really resolved with them.
Mm-mm. And Heather made that clear. So there's many more conversations that need to be had, and a lot more apologies that need to be spoken. I'm like, you're just mad because Whitney called you out on your bullshit. That's all it is. And like
Mhm.
you've been grown for a hot minute. You got like 3 or 4 children, and you should be able to get past this. And the thing, I'm gonna call a thing a thing. The reason why Heather's really mad is because her whole identity is on being a bad Mormon. And like I said before, you cannot be a bad Mormon, which is what you base your brand on, if you're no
Mhm.
longer Mormon. It doesn't work.
Mhm. Yep. It's true. And so Whitney was threatening that. Yep.
Yes, exactly. Basically, what she's looking at, when like, you coming from my bag. That's what you're doing.
Mhm. So Stephanie says, yes, Candace. Giselle bringing up that bottle on another episode was way too much. Overkill. Overkill. Stephanie says, and that was prior to the reunion. So we know they didn't make things better. Heather and Whitney. Yep. Yep. Oh my God. And the constant singing the song of Bad Weather. But in the van, when they were doing the choreography and dancing to Candace's song, I thought that was so cute. Their
It
van was
was.
having so much fun. And in the other van, they were like all grumpy pusses and arguing. I think Marisol and Alexia were arguing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, Candace's van is so much better. Like, and that's how I feel like these trips should be, like having a lot of fun with girls that you might not know from other franchises. Lisa says, I did love the bottle and the end, and Alexia was wrong about talking to Whitney about her children. Yeah, that came off as really judgy. Really judgy. And then at the breakfast, when she was like, I've never smoked marijuana, but my son does. Your husband wasn't peddling marijuana, girl.
Ma'am, ma'am, stop it.
But okay, we'll go with that.
I was looking
Lisa
at her
says
like,
Whitney's her favorite. Oh.
I was looking at her like, what are you? Stop, shut up. No, 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 no. Uh-uh.
So Stephanie said, "Yes, I enjoyed them having fun in that van. That was the best van ride. They had lollipops in their mouth. They was doing choreography. They were learning her lyrics. I thought that was awesome, awesome. Alexia acts like she doesn't get loud. She's the loudest. She's the loudest. Ugh. Love to see Leah and Candace make good friends. Yep. But then I thought it was really strange because when Heather asked Candace who surprised her the most, she said it was Whitney. I would have figured she would have said it was Leah. Interesting. Lisa says he most certainly wouldn't spend that many years in the penitentiary if it was just weed. What what do you oh but yeah, the documentary had a different title, so
Right.
it wasn't Weed Cowboys, that's for sure.
Exactly. No.
Stephanie says Alexia is always so judgy. She should be the last person to speak about how people raise their children. Yep. And
Exactly.
then was it Leah who said, no, it was either Leah or Candace who said, wasn't your kid the one who was in the no, it was Whitney. Your kid was the one who was in the papers kicking a homeless person. I was like, oh, I wish they had said that at the table. Oh my God. Lisa says, I think Pepsi was a real gentleman to those ladies. He had to, yeah, he did cry at the end. I think he was just crying from stress and relief that they were leaving,
Because
you
when
know?
I'm like when it because Portia said Pepsi was looking thin. I'm like, y'all gonna stress this man now that he had lost so much weight.
Mm-hmm. Child, we saw Pepsi curled up in a corner in a fetal position, crying, leaning up against a glass, sleeping. These women wore him out. Lord have mercy. I hope there was at least $10,000 in that envelope for him.
Right.
I want him tipped like below deck. 10 G's.
Because he did everything for them. Like
Yeah.
he made sure they had a good time, or he tried to make sure they had a good time, but they tended to ruin it. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. There's some more comments. He tried to get them to start acting like like adults. He did, but that didn't work. I think he was just embarrassed a lot of the time, especially when they went out and about.
hmm
This season seemed completely different from the premise of the previous seasons. Yep, yep. And I think it was because of Giselle because she's a one-trick pony.
yeah, it was just bad casting.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy would I stand by this. Either Wendy or Ashley would have been a better choice for this girls trip. If you wanted two Potomac girls, it should have been one of those two, preferably Wendy.
Mm. Pepsi went above and beyond. He was so sweet, just wanted peace. Yes. Do you think any of the neighbors called the police for noise disturbances? Hmm. Oh, Lord. Stephanie blames Giselle and Portia. Oh, God. So, yet another series that doesn't show Portia in the best of lights. Spot
hmm
on, Portia. Oh, Stephanie agrees with you. Ashley would have been a great pick. Hmm. All right. So Lisa says when women go on trips like that, they need to take in the cultural behaviors, and modesty when you go to a temple is a must. I couldn't believe some of the outfits they were going to wear. Hmm. Well, look, I don't know, but he did try to warn them as best as possible.
Yep.
Anywho, anything else? Did we miss anything in this episode? Because I know I breezed right through it. It was annoying.
No, we got it. All the important parts.
All right. Well, another Ultimate Girls Trip season has come to an end. Thank God. The next one is Morocco,
Yep.
and that's coming on when? 2025 or something?
Something like that.
Jesus. Um Okay, so Lisa says, agreed. I didn't like that Giselle and Portia for their mouths always acting like a fool. I agree about Ashley. Oh, so you also agree about Ashley. Interesting. But she's got those little young babies at home. It's going to be hard for her to get away for like 10 days.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. Hmm. But hopefully, in the years to come, we will see more of Ashley on this. Alexia isn't a star. She was quick to follow Giselle and be a background character. Ooh, I agree with you. She's not a star. She's not a
No.
star. Mm-mm-mm. All right, y'all. That's the shizzle. I have nothing more to say about this episode. Jamal, any final notes? Comment.
This was kind of a. This was like I said. This we both said that this was a bust due to casting. But at the end of the day, for me, how can I put this? I want to see how Candace and Giselle move forward on their franchise, and I want to see how Whitney and Heather move forward on their franchises after this, based on
Mm.
what we've seen here.
You're that interested. Okay. You can be interested for me. Lisa, that's the Morocco season. That's the next one that's coming. We just don't know when.
For
They
legal purposes.
probably but they probably have to sort out the HR issue that is
Mm-hmm.
Brandy Caroline first before they can air it,
Eric.
because if they have footage of what happened, that might be a problem. That might be a problem. So, guys, that's it for this episode. So long farewell to this season. Thank God. Join us tomorrow. We are reviewing You, Me, and My Ex. And we're also reviewing 90 Day Fiance, Love in Paradise, Hot Mess. Hot Mess. Bring your notes, watch everything. We've got lots to discuss because I, like a lot of people, am very confused by both of these shows. All right, Jamal. Until next time.
Of course.
Yay. Bye, y'all.